everyone, welcome to this week's Trimcraft Tuesday. This week I'm going to be showing you how to make some super simple Christmas electric tea light boxes with first edition paper pads, all the Glistens and Perfect Christmas. So here are some that I made earlier. We've got a 5-inch box and a 3-inch box. We've got the tea lights inside, electric tea lights, but I'm just going to turn the lights off to see if you can see them a bit better. It's not quite dark yet, but if I turn everything off, hopefully you might get a good idea. There we go. How's that? You see those a little bit better there? Just glowing. You can see the electric glow through the vellum, the little cutout shapes, and there's the little one there. Are we in shot? That one's not glowing so well, I don't think. Yes, it seems you can't really see this one, but I promise you there is a cute little glow in there. So yes, that is what we are making. So as I said, I've got a 5-inch one. I'll put the lights on, shall I? There we go. So as I was saying, I've got a 5-inch box here and a 3-inch box here. I'm going to show you how to make a 4-inch box in this video, but I will also tell you how to do all the different sizes. As I said, they are super easy. If you are a regular to my channel, you know I don't do complicated crafts. I'm just not clever enough. Really, I like simple crafts. So let's get going. Before I start, however, at the risk of sounding patronising, I just need to emphasise that these boxes are for electric tea lights only. I know you're all going, yeah, we know, but just in case, electric tea lights only. If you use a real flame, they are made of paper. Real flame plus paper, not a good idea. So yes, one more time, electric tea lights only. Right, that's enough of that. So I made those 2 boxes with all the Glistens. I'm going to use Perfect Christmas for this. I just bought this last week. It actually arrived, I think, when I was filming my last week's Trimcraft Tuesday video. And yes, this didn't come in a DT package, but I just really wanted it because it's beautiful. As I haven't done it in a DT package, I thought I'd just do a really quick flip through of this one. It's just so stunning. I mean, I love all the collections that I've been sent this year, but I do like just a smidge of traditional as well. And this one, I was ogling it in the range a few weeks ago and decided that I just had to have it, and Hobbycraft had it on sale. So yes, I will link it if you are interested because I think it is beautiful. With my favourite paper here. It's got glitter and snowmen on. This is one of the ones we're going to be using in today's project. Glittery poinsettia. And then this one, oh my goodness, it is a textured wood grain. I'm in love with it, and not just for Christmas, that one either. And then a gorgeous textured tartan as well. So anyways, just in case, I thought I would quickly show you what's inside this paper pad. But yes, so to make the box, you either want to choose 2 of the same paper or 1 of 2 different ones. So I'm going to use 1 of this snowman page, if I can get it out, and then 1 with this gorgeous red and cream glittered snowflake page as well. So let's just put the paper pad aside. First up, you want to cut 4 bits of paper, either 2 of 2 designs or 4 of 1 designs, and you're going to cut each piece to 7 inches. Get that lined up. So 7 inches by 4.5 inches. So there's 1, cut another 4.5 there. And then this one, so 7 by 4.5. If you're using 12 by 12 paper, keep these scraps, you will need them later. Next, you want to take your scoreboard. Now, as I always say, if you don't have a scoreboard, don't worry about it. You can just use the old pencil and ruler trick, mark it with a pencil and then bend it over the ruler or score with, you know, however you like. It doesn't have to be a scoreboard. I actually purchased a scoreboard very late in my crafting game. But anyways, on this side, score it at 4 inches, then turn it round and score it again at 4 inches, and then do that for every single piece. So 4 inches and then 4 inches. Once that is done, do not start to fold and burnish the lines just yet. You need to do some snipping and some other stuff first. So where there is these 2 lines meet, you just want to snip that just as far in as that line. Chop a notch off there, and then you want to cut just sort of angle. It doesn't matter how you do it, really doesn't have to be precise at all, as you can tell, but just chop those like that, from that line there. So you've got that 4-inch square there, 2.5 inches there, and 1/2 inch there. So let's just do that again. You chop there, little notch up here at an angle down here. I think I forgot to say this before, but do a slight little angle there, like that. Again, not precise, really doesn't matter. Chop, chop, chop. There's that one. Let's do one more. Okay, little notch from there, cut there, another little notch, just so you've got more like angled tabs, because obviously these are the bits that are going to stick the whole box together. And then little angles down there, and then repeat for the last piece. Our next step is to die cut these shapes in the sides of the box for the light to glow through. Now, if you do not have a die cut machine, do not worry about it. You can always just take these, draw a shape in it, even if it's just a circle or a square or something like that, and just cut it out like that. It doesn't have to be, you know, an intricate image. A circle or a square or a star or something looks just fine. Just remember, you need to leave about 1/2 inch all around the other sides, because we need to be able to stick the vellum on the back. So don't do an enormous image, and it looks better when there's a smaller image for the light to glow through, I think personally. But for mine, I will be using dies. I'm going to use this first edition Build a Scene die set. This is the snowman and penguin set, and cut snowmen into all the sides of my panels. Now, take 2 of the same colour. If you're using all exactly the same, then it doesn't matter at all. And then you can find some washi tape. Where is it? There it is. And you just want to take a small strip of washi and just adhere these together so they're exactly lined up like so, because we're going to die cut through the 2 layers at once. So place the snowman where you think he looks best. I'm going to go for there. Just kind of make sure it's roughly centered, and leave gaps around the edges, as I was saying earlier about sticking your vellum down. We don't want it going over the sides or too close to the edges, so just in the middle. Place your plate on top. I'm just going to check again that looks roughly straight and everything, and then crank it through. Now, you're going through 2 layers. I'm sorry, by the way, if the die cut machine makes the camera jolt, it usually does. Yes, crank it through. I'm going to crank it through a couple of times just to make sure it goes through both of those layers. It might not be necessary because first edition dies are very good, but you know, just in case. And then come back through. Then we should have the snowman have gone all the way through. And there we go, snowman shape. Now, I'm also going to give him little arms, but I'm doing that separately. You can keep these if you want to. Might be handy for another craft. It looks quite nice with the tree there, doesn't it? So yes, I'm going to take the little hand stick arms for snowman there. Put those there. I don't want them sticking out. There is a fly on my die cut machine. Go away. Have them just sticking out a little bit like that. And then crank those through. There we go. Just pull that little bit out. Looks a bit more like a snowman now, but I'm going to do it on the other side as well. Just line that up roughly where you want it. I think with the stick arms on snowmen, they don't actually have to be exact, but yeah, just like that will do nicely. Crank it through, and whoops, take that off there, and there we go. There is the snowman shape. Now take the washi that's keeping the pieces of paper together off. Be careful when you do this though, because once it's gone through the die cut machine a few times, it kind of really sticks the washi to the card. So you just have to be careful when you peel it off, to be careful not to peel off the pattern off the card. So these pieces are done. I have washied these 2 pieces together, but I've decided, however, that even though with these 2 boxes I've got the same cutout on every single side, that for this one I'm going to be a bit different and have different shapes on the other side. So I'm going to use this Simply Creative snowflake die on this one and do 3, sort of 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. So I'm going to get that done and come back to you. Right, so there's all my little individual panels. Now I have made a slight error in that I put this shape a little too far to the left, which means when I do this, you're going to see a bit of it there. So I'm just going to snip this panel down by a little bit on both these pieces. But yes, totally ignore this part. This is just me fixing my error. You probably won't need to do this because you won't make an error like that, but I thought I'd acknowledge that I'm doing it. So I'm just taking off a couple of millimeters off the side of this panel just to, yeah, explain when you notice when I put glue on these why they're a bit smaller. Okay, so ignoring completely that last step, you didn't need to do that, that was just me being an idiot. We need to add our vellum. Now in these two, I've just used normal vellum. However, I have just noticed in my stash this lovely white glittered vellum, which I think will look very nice with the snowman and snowflakes. And even though it's not necessarily Christmas, I think teaming it with these papers makes it Christmassy. So yes, I'm going to use this and cut it down to 3.75 by 3.75 centimeter squares and make 4 of those. If you wanted to be extra, shall we say, frugal with your vellum, you can always measure the exact space you have here, add a little bit extra. So say I had a small thing here that was only 1.5 inches, then I would just make like a 2 by 2 inch piece of vellum if I wanted to like really save it, but can't be bothered to do that. So now we're just going to stick them all down. Tacky glue is my adhesive of choice for this, and you want to start by going round the whole shape, because obviously you don't want it lifting up, you know, like this when it's all put together. So you want that vellum being stuck exactly where the shape is. So go all around that. Obviously use whatever adhesive you think works best with vellum. Vellum is known to be a bit of a pain in the rear for sticking down sometime. Obviously if you're using specialty vellum, special side to the front, and then stick down, and then I just sort of use my fist to make sure that is fully stuck down. Put it to the side, whap something heavier on it, and go to the next one. So again, going round all the little bits and pieces. This one is slightly more intricate, so I'm doing kind of little dots around these bits, because even though they're small, I don't want them sort of starting to curl or flip up later on. Obviously you want to work fairly fast, so the bit over here isn't completely dry by the time I've finished gluing. But if you've got tacky glue, usually, you know, you've got a minute or two before things start to really dry, and sometimes they actually work better if you've given them a minute or two to kind of settle down rather than be completely wet. They get more tacky, as the name implies. And then again, once you've gone all around those pieces, add a little more glue where all the rest of the vellum is going to go. That should do it. Special side down, add like that. And then if you feel you need any more tacky glue, like any of it starts to curl up at the back, you can always just sort of lift it up. Like I could lift up here and just add a little more glue just there, press it down, something heavy, move on to the next one. Now that the vellum glue is dry, it is time to assemble the box. So just fold all those score lines that we did earlier. I personally don't think they need burnishing, just do a little fold. I think if you burnish them, sometimes it affects the paper. Sometimes you get a little bit of a ripped effect on the lines, which is not necessarily something you want. Just a simple fold does the trick. And then add double-sided tape to these little side tabs. Now, as I was saying earlier, with the little mistake I made, I'm having to use different size double-sided tape, but usually I would just use this stuff because it is pretty much exactly 1/2 inch and perfect for those side tabs. To be extra sure that everything is going to stay in place, I like to just use a bone folder and just burnish down that double-sided tape before you take the backing off. It does tend to make a little bit of a difference. Sometimes when you peel the backing off double-sided tape, it can lift the actual tape itself sometimes. So yes, then take off the backing. You can either take them all off at once or one at a time. It is up to you. And then start assembling. So take the left edge of one of the different coloured pieces, unless you're doing them all the same, in which case it doesn't matter. Line this left edge up with this score line here as precisely as you possibly can, and then just burnish that down. Do it again, take the backing off, take this left edge up to this score line here again as precisely as you can, removing any little bits of fluff that have appeared on it, and stick that down. There we go. Burnish that one, and then do the last one. When they're all lined up like that, flip them over, take the two end pieces, fold over like that, take the backing off this piece, and then they should just line up themselves, but you might just want to double check as you're putting it down that you're not at a weird angle or anything like that. Next we want to put adhesive on our bottom panels, so decide which panel you want to be at the front. So I think I would like this one to be at the front. For the front and back ones, you want to put adhesive on the inside of the flap, just a little smidge of double-sided tape, doesn't have to be a lot, and then on the back piece, and then on the other ones you want it on the front of the panel. And with the piece you want at the back facing up, fold in the side panels, this panel, and then finish with the panel that you want at the front, because then the one at the front you won't see any lines like this, so it just makes a small difference. It is not the biggest deal in the world. They won't be very stuck at this point, so just turn the box like that, and again find your something heavy, put it down there and just kind of smush it down so everything sticks together. This next step is totally optional. I'm just taking one of those scraps that I kept hold of earlier, and I'm going to cut it down to just under 4 inches square, so about 3 7/8 square, like that. Add adhesive of your choice, if you can make it come out of the bottle, to the back. Just going to put that all over there, and then place it carefully, try not to get glue all over the place, just in the bottom there. And again, find your something big and heavy. A cup will also do. This water bottle is very handy. I use it for this all the time. Just smooshing it down, making the adhesive nice to stick down properly, and you've just got a little thing in there. I think it just kind of completes the look. You want to take some hook and loop adhesive dots, Velcro adhesive dots. Alternatively, you can use like something like a glue dot or something if you don't have any of these. I find these just slightly best to use for this, but yes, put that on the bottom of your electric tea light, making sure you don't put it on the on-off switch. Take the other part of the Velcro dot. I always just put them down like that, and then stick it down in the center of your box, and then that is nice and easy to remove, to turn the light on and stick it back into place, but it just means the candle isn't going to slip and slide around in there. And then at this stage you can decorate them however you like. If you want to add a bit of extra decoration, for example with these ones, I've just added some thin gold glitter washi around the edges. I also, with this one, I used a border punch. Where is it? Just a scallop border punch before I stuck everything together, actually, for doing the edges, just for a little interesting edge at the top here. The big one, as well, as you can see, I put 2 candles inside because one doesn't quite cut it when it's a big 5-inch one like this. For this one, I think I'm just going to add some slim silver washi to the top, if I can find the end of the washi. There it is. When adding washi, start on your back panel. I just need to turn this over so I can see what I'm doing, because you're going to get an overlap of the washi. So you just don't want that overlap happening on the front or the sides of it, because it just doesn't look wonderful. Wrap that around the entire length, like so, sort of pressing it along as you go, and then when you get to the end, overlap it a little bit and snip. And obviously you can add any extra decoration you like. You could put some enamel dots or some stars all over here, put a little sentiment on, some stickers, anything you can think of. I personally like to keep them kind of plain like this, because I think when it's in the dark and they're just glowing, you're mostly just going to see this shape and a little bit of the pattern paper, but do whatever you fancy. With the smaller sizes, for example, you could put some ribbon or some twine across it and actually hang it up on your tree or something like that, if that's something you would like to do. And now I'm just going to finish by showing you how you would make any different sizes. Now, you don't need to draw it out because it is the simplest thing ever. I'm just drawing out so you've got something to look at, really. So that is the shape that you're going to need. And say you wanted to do a 2.5-inch box, so this is going to be 2.5. You want to add 1/2 inch on this side, so that means the whole thing is 3 inches across, and then you want to add half of that main size plus 1/2 inch for the bottom panel. So that is, well, I'm going to have to mathematically calculate that one out. That's 1.75 for this panel here. So as I said, half of that size plus half an inch, and then calculate this whole length, which for this size would be 4.25, and then these measurements are the size of paper that you want to cut. And then the score lines will just be whatever size your main part is. So you would score this on one side at 2.5 and the other side at 2.5. Yeah, just to go over it again, this works at absolutely any size. So say you wanted a big 6-inch box, you add 0.5 for the panel. So this whole thing is going to be 6.5 inches wide, and then half, which is 3 plus 5, or plus 5 plus half an inch, make that 3.5. So for this whole stretch here, you want 9.5. And obviously that same system works in centimeters too. So I would make this probably 2 centimeters, maybe 1.5, something like that, just to add on to there. But the whole system will work with, is there other measurements other than like, oh, yards, I suppose. Anyways, that should cover that information. So as I said, you can make them any size. I actually like the little box the best, I think, but the glow comes really nicely out of this size as well. And it also comes really nicely out of this size with the 2 candles in. So yeah, whatever you like, really. I think if you had 3 on a mantelpiece kind of like that, it would look really, really nice of an evening, just glowing away. In case you were wondering, these little electric tea lights that I'm using, the little flickering ones, are from the range. It was a £5 for 20 of them, I think. I will link them if I can find them. If you fancy making something a little more complex and a Christmas lantern shape that closes at the top, then I really recommend watching Sam at Mixed Up Crafts video that she published last week. I will link it for you, where she made a lantern that's very similar to this with the vellum and the electric tea light. She actually published that video on the day I made these 2 little prototypes for this video, and I was going, oh no, that's a bit similar to what I did. Oh dear, what do I do? But I decided as mine is slightly different and really easy to make, then I would show you how to make them anyway. But I will link that video if you would like to watch it. So there we go, that is it. Next week we'll be making alternative Christmas cards. That will make more sense when you see the video. So look out for next Tuesday's video. And yes, okay, I'm finished. Thank you so much for watching. Links in the description. Please leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Chat to me in the comments, all of that stuff. Okay, going. Thank you again. Bye-bye.